guys experienced racism?
I already shared my story.
Briefly. I think a good question is, what would you do or say to a person that you find out is for sure racist? What do you do in that circumstance?
At that point, I would...
Because what if this is the nicest person you've ever met, and they're just naturally racist?
I would have to forcibly disagree with them, but...
What do you mean by that?
Still treat them with the dignity that any person deserves. I would disagree with them. I would debate them if...
Like you would challenge a debate?
I would challenge them on that because they're wrong, and there is no good reason for believing such things.
Do you think or know of any time that you may have been racist, even by accident?
Possibly. I mean, and possibly they were being too sensitive, though, which is a huge part of this whole racism debacle.
That, to me, sounds like what a racist would say.
That
not calling you racist, but that is a mindset of a racist.
That other people are being too sensitive.
Yes.
Sure, but it's also a fact of life that people are very sensitive, and they'll blow the littlest thing out of proportion. Like, maybe, like, they are somebody who's dealing with racism clearly in their lives, and then you're just some normal, guy who gets in their way, and then all of a sudden they're accusing you of racism. Well, like, why, right?
Okay, so I'm going to interject on that. To talk about race, so for myself, I am half Indigenous and half Caucasian. But I was never brought up in Indigenous culture or Indigenous language or heritage or anything whatsoever. I didn't know anything about it. And it's not that my parents didn't want me to, it's just that it was never something that was offered or easy accessible.
Or available.
Yeah, or available. And now as a 23-year-old, I'm learning more about my own culture and certain, ceremonies and meanings of things and understanding it better. But I still don't fully understand, and sometimes I feel like a racist or a prejudice because if I say something wrong or that isn't 100% correct in the Indigenous culture, I feel like people would judge me, being like, oh, well, you don't know, you're just being offensive. Especially because if they look at my skin tone, they'll just think I'm a white person saying something about Indigenous people, unless they know my background, right? But also there's times where, like at work, when a coworker was talking about the tax thing, and there's even some things my mom talks about, or if I overhear people talking about a stereotype about Indigenous people, I get really, really angry and upset. Like, it actually hurts me. Even though I was never raised in Indigenous culture or grew up around it, it still hurts me. So is that me being sensitive? Like, if I hear someone talking bad about another culture or race, I'm still upset and hurt, but not in the same way I am when it's specific to my culture. So maybe it actually isn't people being sensitive. There is actually that connection that people have with their culture or heritage or religion that deep down inside of them, this is, even if they didn't grow up with it, they're like, no, this is who I am. And I'm proud of this, and it hurts when someone else says something, even if they didn't mean it or understand what they were saying, it still hurts.